My name's Emma. I'm the School and Youth Programs Manager at the Bainbridge Island Museum of Art, and I'm here today for BIMA's Art in Action from Home. Today I'm going to be talking about how to turn your home into a museum by using museum labels for the interesting and exciting objects in your home collection, whether that be works of art, natural objects, living collections like plants or animals. What are ways that we can use our words to describe the world around us and share information about what makes these objects or things in our collection interesting to us and might be interesting to other people. So we'll start by talking about tombstone labels, the kind of bare bones, basic information about objects that can help us get interested in learning more, to identify those things. And then we'll talk a little bit more about what can be included on a longer label, something that's actually going to add interpretation, tell us more about those objects in your collection and what makes them interesting or special to you. So today I'm going to start by making a really basic template for making a tombstone label. So we want to start with the artist's name at the very top, and then follow with the title of the object or the artwork. And sometimes you'll know this, sometimes you won't. And then your best guess at the year it was created. Then you'll want to list the materials, what it's made from. And then you need to answer the question, how did it get there? How did it get into your collection? And at the museum, that might be a gift, it might be a purchase. And in the museum, we also have collection numbers, but maybe you do or don't have numbers for your objects at home. As we go to fill out the template, you're going to want to look closely at your work of art for all of the information you need. Maybe it's the name of the artist is on there somewhere, the date, think about what the materials are. So I have this print here, and the artist's name is Art Hansen. So his name goes all the way at the top, followed by the title of the artwork, which is Moon and Forest number 2. And I know from looking at the print that it was made in 1998, because that's listed here. And then the materials, this is an etching, and that's really all I know about it. So I can't really say what kind of paper or ink it is, but I do know that it's an artist print number 5. So it's an original by the artist, and that I purchased it in 2019. So our tombstone label, or the basic label, introduced us to the very basic information about this work of art. But you also have an opportunity to write a longer label, and you'll notice in some museums, a lot of curators will use longer labels to give more information about what makes an artwork special or interesting. And we want to start by elaborating on what you can see. So if you use what you see visually in the object as an anchor, that will kind of bring people's attention back as you tell your story. They'll have something to reference. You also want your label to be short. Even though you are using this opportunity to elaborate, people don't spend a lot of time reading, so 100 words or under, and making sure that it's legible from a distance, and maybe that means writing clearly and largely, or maybe that means printing something. And as you're telling this story about your work of art, you can include quotes from the artist, the curator, which would be you, or the community, thinking about what makes this personally meaningful to people. Maybe you're including images or diagrams that can help tell the story. And this is an opportunity for further research, right? To learn more about that object or the artist and take things from there. So now that we've made our own labels, I hope that you'll share with us what you're labeling in your home collections, what stories you're telling about the objects or special works of art in your house, and we look forward to seeing what you all make. We'll see you next time on BIMA's Art in Action from Home.
Hi, my name is Kendra Azari. I'm a local artist. I grew up in and around Lake City. This is my mural called Susie's Garden. It was painted for the owner of Lake City Travel. This whole office is filled with a bunch of beautiful women that work here and make people's dreams come true. I was inspired to paint these flowers because they mean things like loyalty, beauty, peace, and grace, the sunflowers and the roses. And yeah, I was honored to paint this mural for them, and I know that Susie really enjoys it, the owner of this place, and it's been really fun, and I enjoyed being able to have fun. It was my first spray can mural, and I appreciate her letting me experiment with my art.
This mural is called Cruisin'. It was created by Stephanie Morales for a long-time trustworthy Lake City family business, Northwest Automotive. Stephanie says Cruisin' is a collection of classic cars dreamed up by the Northwest Automotive team. A group of teen leaders and volunteers from the neighborhood were invited by Stephanie to help paint the mural and help build community through art and deter unwanted graffiti. Stephanie's murals show us that art is one of the best ways to build community and bring people together from different backgrounds. Juan Angel Roman created these two murals on the north wall of Pacific Northwest Flooring, a long-standing family business in Lake City. Owners Bev and Jim had unwanted graffiti on their wall and decided to try a different approach to deter unsightly vandalism, support local artists, and beautify the neighborhood. As a result, Juan installed these artworks. On the left is a mural with letters that spell Puerto Rico. Inside each letter is a different image depicting the culture, beauty, and resilience of Puerto Rico. In 2019, 1 million Puerto Ricans protested in the streets for months until they forced a corrupt governor to resign. This event is pictured here in the letter P. To the right, Pacific Northwest animals. You can see a bear, whale, salmon, and other Pacific Northwest animals. This mural is great for selfies with your family and friends. This mural is called Kennelly Keys Music, and it was created by Juan Angel Roman for the Kennelly Keys Music Store. This is the back wall of the music shop. We invite you to walk past Kelly Cannoli and around to the front and see what's available. This wall, like many others in the area, had unwanted graffiti. Kelly Keys was excited about the idea to solve the problem using art and local talent. They decided to financially support the mural in partnership with Build Lake City Together. Stop by and get a delicious cannoli when you see this mural.
This is another mural I'm going to be working on for a dear friend of mine named Linda Beal. She's a longtime Lake City resident from Seattle. And to honor her, we're going to do a memorial mural for her on this wall. The owner of Two Dogs Yoga is going to help us and has been helping us fundraise and get it going. We wanted it to be a community mural, but because of COVID, it's changing. And so the idea is I'm going to bring together different pieces of Lynn's art and I'm going to recreate them on this wall. And in consideration of everything going on in the world, I want to take an opportunity to represent something that's important to Lynn, and that's social justice. So first off, we're going to have a portrait of Lynn on this corner right here. And then she's going to be playing the violin, which she loved to do. She loved music, as you know. And then from there, we're just going to go on with different scenes of her artwork. And as I said, I'm going to do something that has to do with social justice because I know that she would feel so strongly about what's going on in the world right now. And I think that the best way to honor her is to put that first and center for her.
Native food sovereignty is revitalizing a way of life by holding this intention around strengthening our sovereignty, which is our inherent right to eat the foods that our ancestors ate. And when we look back into, the Point Elliott Treaty or the Medicine Creek Treaty and many others throughout the Puget Sound, the discussions that were captured during that time illustrated that our ancestors, our leadership that came together and really were trying to define what sovereignty meant to us. It's clear that the priority was access to foods and medicines. And then when you compare that to our creation stories and our oral traditions, which tell us that we are to honor these foods because if they cease to exist, then so will we as a people. When I think about a database of foods that consists of over 300, and we're talking whitecap to whitecap, the mountaintop to the shores of the Puget Sound, it tells me that we were eating a very healthy diet and that the landscape was diverse. And we know that healthy ecosystems are diverse ecosystems. In paralleling that with the rise of diabetes and heart disease and all of the cancers, environmental toxins, that all of those things are a reflection of the diet that we're eating and what we're missing out on. So I think that traditional foods diet is a diverse diet. And in that way, you're sort of, you're not taking too much of one thing. There's no monocrop. You're making sure to maintain a balance in the landscape. So if you saw an abundance of wild blackberries in one season, that would sort of follow a not so great crop of huckleberry. So maybe you eat more of that berry in that year. The treaties are about us trading land for access to food and education and health care. Those treaties were not honored, and then came along a Land Reform Act, which basically made it illegal for Native people to have a Native identity and live outside of a reservation. And so people were removed from their village sites. For example, Seattle has Pioneer Square, which traditionally was a village site called Zizalalaj, which was known for being a big duck snare site. And the people of that place took care of that food source. You knew through a social network and through an integral intermarriage system and trade that you would have access to this food and those people would be taking care of that food. Now, when you're removed from that, for muckleshoots, for example, you're taken to the Enumclaw Plateau, which traditionally was root gardens, your food system becomes shattered. Your sense of worth and what you carry in the world has now been cleaved. And so that has had an impact on people in a very traumatic way. And it has taken some time for us to collect ourselves and redefine the food knowledge that we carry, the wealth that we carry with the land, and at the same time really still trying to fight to make sure that the treaty, what we traded land for, is honored, is absolutely honored. The major grounding piece for our treaties to be honored, you could point to the Bolt decision, which was all about fisheries. And then since then, it's been about shellfish and co-management with the state and then hunting rights. But the roots and the berries, which were explicitly, negotiated in the treaties, have been overlooked. And that has been the loss of that opportunity for women to do the work on the land. Muckleshoot has done a tremendous job with developing comprehensive research on fisheries and wildlife issues, and now we have moved our focus to purchasing forest lands. My hope for it is that it becomes a place of nature's healing, it's restorative, and it's also a place where women can have a space in the natural resources professions. Now we can take nutrition science and ancestral knowledge and combine those two into making a really amazing, innovative diet happen. Like huckleberry smoothies, or processing your nettles and freezing them for the year to come, or juicing your cleavers and horsetails. They're much more than just commodities. You know, they are our greatest teachers. So we look at the salmon people who teach us about what it means to be an advocate for the land, who every year leave their ancestral rivers, travel the ocean seas, tonifying and exercising and building these mineral-rich bodies, and then they return home and give their life for everything that dwells on the land. You know, we witness this homecoming and we ask ourselves how we pitiful human beings might be like the salmon people. How can we humble ourselves, be powerful medicine for the land, and truly understand what it means to honor the gift of food? For the Coast Salish people, our native foods are our physical, mental, and spiritual medicine. And that means that when we're actively on the land in pursuit of wild game, or fishing the rivers, or cultivating prairie lands, or harvesting medicine with really good intention, that we're gifted with memories, both new and those of a distant past. And those memories help us remember who we are and the lands that we come from. They settle us in a sense of belonging and promote balance and generosity.
Abanyarwanda twese tugire tuti yewe yadukuye mu ntambara n'ubugome
Pygmy Survival Alliance has been working in Rwanda for the past 3 years. Right now, the group's programs focus on a village right outside of the capital, Kigali. The village is not too far away, but when Pygmy Survival Alliance first started working there, it was a long, bumpy ride. The village is called Bwiza. The name of the village, Bwiza, means beautiful. Even though Bwiza is so close, the villagers used to live on the margins of society. They faced poverty and discrimination daily because they're Batwa Pygmies, one of the ethnic groups in Rwanda. The doctors at Pygmy Survival Alliance started collaborating with a Rwandan organization, Health Development Initiative, to find ways to change conditions in Bwiza. At the first meeting with the village, they told us that water leaked into their houses. They said that even though the women gave birth to as many as 10 children, less than half of them would survive. The village didn't have enough to eat, so they had to beg. Pygmy Survival Alliance and Health Development Initiative started working in Bwiza very simply, with shoes. The idea was that if the villagers had shoes, their children wouldn't get sick from walking in the dirt and they could go to school. The adults could go to the market without being embarrassed. It was a great success. Over time, Health Development Initiative started growing into a more established organization and continued to work with Pygmy Survival Alliance. They both learned from mistakes in Bwiza. During the second visit to the community, it was clear that the organizations couldn't just give stuff away, even though the people of Bwiza needed so much. It created conflict in the village. And giving stuff away just creates the expectation to give more stuff away. So that's when the doctors employed a field manager, Eddie Rwagasore. He started organizing the community.
We are heading down to Bwiza village. and the village is down here. The village of the Batwa.
Eddie helped form a village council where people in Buiza came up with solutions to their problems. There were positive results you could see all over the village, like livestock.
The village members, they have started digging their own latrines, diarrheal diseases.
Yeah.
So this is the process which has begun. And we hope maybe in a month or 2 months the whole village will have the latrines dug by themselves, not us from Kigali come and digging. We are just empowering them with the village council.
Nirabira is one woman who got shoes for the first time. She said having shoes for the first time felt great, and she used them to find a way out of begging. Buiza formed a music and dance troupe and earned money at performances. They got a bank account and started a cooperative. Pygmy Survival Alliance and Health Development Initiative helped improve planting methods, and the crops flourished. The village got a water tank. Community empowerment is the basis of everything the organizations have done in Buiza. The villagers have the power to change their lives, and the organization's role is to help them succeed. But the story doesn't end there. Health Development Initiative has 2 new members who are focused on Buiza, Claude Bizimana and Josephine Kamarebe. Nirabira is a woman from Buiza. Pygmy Survival Alliance recently sent a delegation to visit a different Batwa village, and Nirabira came along to represent Buiza. Nirabira has seen the transformation in Buiza since Pygmy Survival Alliance and Health Development Initiative started working there 3 years ago. She's seen her life improve too. The delegation met with Liance Biamana, a program coordinator for Partners in Health, which started a program working with the Batwa.
When we came here, the communities there they were in the very bad conditions. They were living like under the trees or in like something like holes.
This village where Nirabira visited looks very different from Buiza. The people there received houses and even mattresses from the international organization. Conditions in this village have gotten a lot better since the houses were built. The villagers are much healthier. Nirabira knows that houses are just the first step. What was most important in her village, Buiza, was learning how to work together to find solutions to their problems. Nirabira had a message for them.
Hello everyone. We stay over in Kigali. Before Pygmy Survival Alliance and Health Development Initiative came to us, we never used to have beans. We used to beg all the time. All the time. Even me, I used to beg all the time. One time a person said to me, "Even though you have 2 hands and 2 feet, what are you doing begging?" So I decided to try and help myself, and I started to dig and make terraces. Pygmy Survival Alliance and Health Development Initiative did all they could to help us. Now, we're able to eat the beans that we grew. Today we have cows. After seeing all that success, it opened our minds to see that if we work hard, we can make something of ourselves. So we can't just sit around and wait for people to help us. Let's work hard. It's good if you can get help from others, but it's also good for people to help themselves.
Nirabira is proud of the progress they've made, and she's thankful for the help they have gotten along the way. Now that she knows what she is capable of, she says she could never beg again.
How are you?
I am fine, thank you.
How are you?
am fine, thank you.
How are you?
I am fine, thank you. I am fine, thank you.
During a visit in 2011, the people of Buiza showed their thanks to Pygmy Survival Alliance and Health Development Initiative.
People living with dementia gradually lose the ability to follow and enjoy regular TV. Still, it's not uncommon for them to spend some part of the day in front of a television. Clinical research shows that TV is most effective for people with dementia when the content is of high interest to the individual and ideally is watched with someone else. Zinnia TV offers gently paced programming designed to reinforce one's identity, enhance quality of life, and encourage conversation between loved ones and care partners. It's programming that's designed to provide a better viewing experience for people living with dementia or for anyone who enjoys a more gentle TV experience. Let's watch a preview of a Zinnia TV video about visiting a farm. You've been watching a preview of Zinnia TV. To watch more videos on a variety of topics, please visit our website, zinniatv.com.
Hi everyone, my name is Katie Freeman, and I'm the Memory Loss Program Coordinator over at the Greenwood Senior Center. I also lead meditation groups twice a week on Tuesdays and Fridays. So happy that you're here to join me today. Today I'm going to guide you through a simple mindfulness meditation practice. And mindfulness meditation is all about being in the present moment. Our minds have a tendency to cling on to things that happened in the past or to worry about what we're going to do next. So with mindfulness, we can really tune in to what's happening in this present moment and to try to find a sense of peace in what's going on around us right now. Let's begin. So we'll start with our eyes open. And what I want you to do is just quickly scan around your room and just look at the things that you can see. Often these are objects that are around us every single day, but we may not really be paying attention to them. So take a moment, let your eyes fall on one object, and just take a second to really look at it. Notice the color, the form, whatever quality it has. Really take your time observing that thing. When you're ready, you can go ahead and close your eyes. Just like we did with our sense of sight, we'll tune into our sense of hearing now. Again, really listening to what sounds are present right here in this moment. You might notice a subtle noise, the ticking of a clock, the sound of your own breathing. Or it may be more disruptive. You may be hearing the noise of traffic from outside your window, perhaps a noisy neighbor. Whatever it is, just tune into the different qualities of that sound, just noting what it is. Now we'll turn to our sense of touch, an awareness of the body. And first we'll feel into the points of contact between our body and whatever it is that you're sitting on. You might first notice your feet pressed against the ground, your legs on a chair, a cushion, whatever it is. Just take a minute to really feel. And as we're doing this part of the meditation, it's good to check in and make sure that you're in a comfortable position. When we're sitting for meditation, we want to try to keep the spine straight and upright. That allows us to get the deepest breath. But if you find that's uncomfortable, just find whatever it is that works for you. So this is a good point in our meditation practice to really check in to your position. Ideally, we want to keep our spine straight and upright, as that gives us the most or the deepest breath that we can take. But really see if you're comfortable in this position. There's no need for discomfort to distract us from what we're trying to do today. So go ahead and adjust. Really sink in to your position and make it comfortable. And in our practice today, we're going to use the breath as an anchor to keep us in the present moment. That's what we're going to focus our attention on. So in your own time, just start to notice how it feels to breathe in and out, letting the breath come in gently through the nose and out the mouth. We're not trying to change the pace of our breathing or breathe in any sort of pattern. We're just noticing it, just paying attention to how, with this breath, how do I feel that in my body? And as you breathe in and out, you may notice the air coming in through your nose. Just follow that, traveling down into your lungs, expanding your chest and your diaphragm, and then coming out the mouth. Really take the time to track that full cycle of breath. And this close attention to the breath is really at the heart of our meditation practice. This is something that we can return to over and over again. As we do this, you may notice that it's challenging to just pay attention to the breath. We don't often just sit down and pay attention to one thing. Our minds tend to be all over the place, considering what's happening next, thinking about what someone said before we started this meditation. It's good to remember that, that's what the brain evolved to be, to think so much. So if you notice yourself thinking, getting distracted, not being in the moment, just gently redirect that attention back to the breath. There's no judgment when we find that our minds have wandered. Just that gentle redirection back to that rhythmic in and out. Now that you're paying close attention to your breath, you might start to notice the 4 different parts of the breath cycle. And those 4 are just that first in-breath, really filling your lungs, expanding your diaphragm. The second part is just that subtle pause after the in-breath, where you're holding everything in place. Next comes the out-breath as you let that air out through the mouth, letting the lungs deflate, your stomach come back down. And then again, just a subtle pause. And after that pause, we start all over again with the in-breath, pause, out-breath, pause. Take a couple of cycles of breath where you try to notice each part and see how it feels in your body. What's different with the in-breath than the pause, than the out-breath? What do you feel in all of those different parts? We're tuning in just to those very subtle variances. So subtle that we often just don't notice them during the day. We're paying attention with a sense of curiosity to something that we take for granted. We're being curious about how that really feels, what it does for us, what moves, what's here. If you find that your mind is wandering often, again, we're not placing any judgment on that fact. We're just noticing, oh, this is what my brain is doing today. But if you do find yourself getting distracted, it might be helpful to use this phrase, matching the in-breath and the out-breath. Just saying it silently to yourself, or if you want, saying it out loud. Breathing in, I know that I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I am breathing out. Breathing in, I know that I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I am breathing out. I like to use that phrase because the length of it, for me, matches up with the length of my in-breath. So the whole phrase fills up that breath and that out-breath. But if it feels maybe a little wordy, maybe a little too long for you, you can always make it just simply in, out. In, out. Using that word or that phrase as our anchor to pair with the breath. Just really rooting us to the present moment. Breathing in, I know that I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I am breathing out. And we'll take the next few moments just to really sit in this silence. You can choose what anchor you'd like to use, matching your breath. And as we come to the end of our meditation practice today, I'll have you expand your field of awareness from the breath to the whole body. Noticing again those points of contact between your body and the chair, between your feet and the ground, your arms resting in your lap. Next, we'll keep expanding that field of awareness, tuning into the sounds around us, bringing us back into the space that we're in. Again, listening to those subtle sounds, those loud sounds, whatever it is, just listening with curiosity, just noticing what's here. And at the sound of the bell, I'll have you go ahead and open your eyes whenever you're ready. You can take a moment as you're opening your eyes just to adjust back to seeing whatever it is that's around you. You can take one last deep breath with me today. Again, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Well, I hope that practice brought just a little bit of peace, a little bit of pause to your day. And again, thank you for joining me today. Bye, everyone.